Hey, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm gonna talk about top 5
best random orbital sanders.
Starting at number 5.
Makita BO5041K 5-inch. The Makita random orbital sander has two unique features among the sanders that we tested, one good and one not so good. The good feature is the additional handle that comes with the sander. This straps to the body and allows a whole bunch of new ways to hold the sander, providing both improved control and comfort. This is a feature that I loved, and I'm going to be looking into whether I can add one of these to my sander. The other unique feature is a trigger mechanism to operate it instead of an on-off switch. It's an interesting idea, but it simply doesn't work that well. A sander typically isn't a tool that you want to turn on and off quickly like a saw or a drill. When it's time to sand, you turn it on. The trigger does have an always-on lock, but the fact that I always used it defeats the point of a trigger in the first place.
Coming at number 4.
Milwaukee 603. Milwaukee is typically known for its battery-powered tools, but it does have an extensive line of corded tools as well. This is another powerful 3-amp sander, but unfortunately, that power does not translate into significantly faster sanding times. However, it does come with all of the control drawbacks of a more powerful sander. When it's running smoothly, it runs very smoothly, but when it jumps and pulls, it pulls hard enough that I would be concerned about accidentally causing damage in tight areas. What's more, the dust collection on this sander simply isn't very good. Even with the vacuum hooked up, the Milwaukee left behind quite a bit more paint and sawdust than most of the others. Unfortunately, despite Milwaukee's reputation and my personal affinity for their tools, the corded random orbital sander just doesn't measure up.
At number 3.
BOSCH ROS20 VSC Palm. This is actually the sander that I have personally, and its performance made me pretty happy I bought it. It's one of the smoothest and easiest to control of all of the sanders that we tested, something that's borne out in my experience with multi-hour sanding sessions. The handle is comfortable and contoured, providing numerous ways to hold the sander with either hand. The dust collection is solid, falling right in line with the average for all of the sanders that we tested. It has a variable speed, a vacuum attachment, and even a nice carrying bag. The biggest drawback of this sander is the power. You can hear the power difference between this and some of the others. This was the slowest sander to complete the tasks, by about 20%. This makes sense, given that it has a 2.5 amp motor versus the 3 amp of some of the highest ranked sanders. That lower power allows some of the better control that this sander features, but you have to decide if it's worth the trade-off. All in all, this is a quality sander that most homeowners would be more than happy with.
Number 2 of my list.
Porter Cable Random. The more tools I test, the more impressed I am with Porter Cable's entire lineup, and the orbital sander is no exception. The shining success of this sander is the dust collection, which was one of the best among all that we tested. The integrated bag dust collection lets out some dust, but much less than many of the others. When attached to the shop vac, there was almost no cloud from the sander. It also comes with a flexible vacuum connector that can fit multiple different hose sizes, which is a nice bonus. Performance-wise, the Porter Cable Random Orbital Sander fell right in the middle, coming in around the 5-minute mark to strip the board of all its paint. It's smooth and easy to control without a lot of extra effort, which bodes well for longer sanding sessions. The biggest complaint that I have with this sander is the comfort. It had multiple ways to hold it, but the top handle isn't great. It's flat and not contoured to a hand, so holding from the top long-term is difficult. If you're like me and prefer to hold the body of the sander, this may not be a deal-breaker, but it is something to consider.
And number 1.
DEWALT Orbital Sander. The DEWALT Orbital Sander is the best random orbital sander you can buy. It crushed its competition in terms of speed, removing the paint from a board in about 3 minutes, whereas the other random orbital sanders in this guide took around 5. It is comfortable to hold in multiple positions, and its dust collection system does a decent job, particularly when connected to a shop vac. This is a great sander to pick up for personal use. First, the DEWALT can only operate at a single speed. This certainly isn't a deal breaker, as I run my sander at top speed 99% of the time anyway. However, the second, larger issue is that the same power that made such short work of the painted board makes this sander a bit difficult to control. Keeping it under control requires more effort than I had to use with most of the other sanders in this guide. However, its control issues aren't such that I recommend against buying it. This is a powerful random orbital sander that offers impressive performance.
Check out this video description for latest price and more informations. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe and stay tuned.